Lewis Hart for The Ring magazine. Always a pleasure to be joined with Fabio Wardley, and it's even better to be joined in Ipswich as well, the hometown. But yeah, obviously massive fight for yourself coming up October 25th against Joseph Parker at the O2 Arena. Returning to where you had a great fight there, obviously with Fraser Clarke, almost about 18 months ago.
Yeah, great for you to watch.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Yeah, look, first thing first, how's things? How's everything been?
Yeah, everything's going really well. Camp's going good. All on track, moving forward nicely to the 25th.
Yeah, and obviously taking on Joseph Parker, who probably arguably one of the most informed heavyweights in world boxing like yourself at this point. So when you got the call and the fight got presented, I think as boxing fans, they get excited for big heavyweight fights and fights like this. But do you share that sort of same emotions the fans do of that excitement for obviously a big fight that you're going to be involved in?
Yeah, look, massive fight. It was a fight we asked for. We posed the question to Frank and to Parker and his team as well. We're the ones asking. So it was more so when I got the call to say it was confirmed. I was like, okay, cool, here we go. Big fight. They're the occasions I love to be involved in. I'm not here to just kind of fiddle my way through and take easy fights, easy moments, whatever else. I like to be in the thick of it. So this is very much another one of them situations for me.
Has there been an importance for you on taking it step by step, I guess? Like, there's a lot of people that you'll think ahead, and I feel like with yourself, it's almost been that step-by-step process of your career, and you're now at the position where you're fighting Joseph Parker. Have you felt like that in a sense of it almost being like a step-by-step process? Like, obviously, there was the British title now, naturally moving on to a world scene, if that makes sense. Yeah,
look, we've had to build along the way and work our way through and tick off certain milestones to make sure we're ready for fights of this level, fights of this magnitude. And I feel like we've done all that throughout my career now. So we were in the right place at the right time to say, right, okay, cool, let's get stuck in. Let's throw ourselves into that real 1%, that top end of the division.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I mentioned earlier about Joseph Parker being one of the most informed heavyweights at the moment. When you do look at his resume, you look at his three most recent wins of Bakole, Wilder, and Zhang. Do you think that there's a right to say where they could be somewhat sort of overrated wins in a sense when you look at sort of Wilder and the state that he was in and Zhang, etc., and obviously Bakole coming in on such short notice? Like, is that a fair statement, do you think, when you are, I guess, preparing for a fight with him?
Look, it could be made. It very much could be made. You can pick a caveat out of each one of those. I think obviously the most obvious one is Bakole coming in on a day's notice or whichever else. But you still just have to beat the man in front of you, and unless you do that, like if it goes the other way, he's gonna get absolutely torn for it. So you have to give him credit when he does win and when he does come through.
Mm-hmm. And just looking back, reflect on that night against Justice Hooney, which was a special night that will live long for the rest of your career. How do you deal, I guess, after a moment like that? Because you still have big ambitions. You want to win a world title, but that is such a peak moment in your career. Like, is it hard sometimes to, I guess, get back on horse after something sort of so incredible like that? Or does it give you more momentum, would you say?
No, because it's funny because after that, everything went from kind of peak to normal real quick. I was home by like 2-3 in the morning, something like that, in my own bed, tucked up.
Wow.
Like, we're trying to go to sleep while my missus was heavily pregnant, rolling, tossing and turning next to me. So yeah, it brought me down to, it was a stark reality real quickly. So no, it's not, it wasn't hard to like get back on the horse in that sense or say, oh yeah, I want to jump back into things, because although that was great, it was a huge occasion, huge moment, I want it again. I want another big fight, another big event, another big occasion, another big moment. I'm constantly wanting more. Hence why we're jumping into this fight as well.
Mm-hmm. For this fight with Parker, do you feel like there's more doubters than ever, I guess, because of the moments in that Hooney fight that was quite unsuccessful for you? Yeah,
of course. Look, it showed that I'm not the finished article, which is not something I ever claimed to be. Yeah. I very much have told people throughout the duration of my career, I am the epitome of learning on the job. I'm figuring everything out just in front of your eyes. And that was a very clear reminder of that statement, really, that I'm still learning, still figuring things out, but ultimately I did figure it out. And that's just something innate in me that I have always there. And I've said to other people previously as well that in a sense, it's more, well, it's not even in a sense, it is more beneficial for me that I went through the fight in that moment, that occasion like that, because there's a lot more to take from that to pick for us to kind of self-identify and go, okay, actually, I need to do this, I need to clean up this, rather than say, maybe I got rid of Hooney in a round or two, and then I go into this fight with Parker thinking I'm the big I am and not paying attention to some of the things that I got wrong or are wrong in me innately. So yeah, it's done me a world of good.
Yeah. Do you think you become a better fighter as of what happened in the Hooney fight?
Yeah, look, 1,000%. It's something we've looked at, identified, and we're tweaking. So I don't get that insight without going through that fight.
It was something that Deontay Wilder always said, and it was a statement that you phrased again. I think you phrased it in the Hooney fight of Wilder saying, look, you need to be perfect. I think he said it in the Fury fight of like, you need to be perfect for 12 rounds and I only need to be perfect for 1 second. And it was obviously something that you said in the Hooney fight, and it was kind of true. But in some sense, whilst that is good to almost rely on that, like almost it's good to have that, that's not something you'd say you want to rely on, would you say?
Yeah, look, something I agree with. It's good to have in the back pocket and know it's there, and you could use a moment to fall on it, or it can be useful to you, but that's not what my game is built around, or the game plan, or the way we're especially going into this fight and going, don't worry, however it goes, one way or another, I should be able to get him out of there. That's not where we're hanging our hat. We're putting a full-fledged game plan together, and that's plan A.
Yeah. With that being said, though, when you do see sort of Parker in the fights against Zhang, where he was in the canvas twice, you must have confidence in your power, especially against someone like Joseph Parker.
Yeah, look, I have confidence in my power against Parker, against everyone in this division. I believe right opportunity, right moment, right occasion, I can knock anyone out. That is, for me, I think that's there, but there's a lot more that goes into it. Piecing it together properly and doing all that. But Parker has proven that he can go down and get back up and will himself through. So I'm going to have to be smart, strategic about how I go about trying to get the finish.
I know, look, Parker is a massive fight for you, but it's been no secret what could lie after that with a fight against Oleksandr Usyk. We don't know how long he's got left in the sport, but with that carrot being dangled as well, how special do you think, if you've got that in the sights as well of a fight with Usyk?
Yeah, it goes without saying, doesn't it? It's a huge fight, a huge moment, huge opportunity, but it's definitely not taking a large portion of my focus at the moment. It's nice to sit it in the back of my mind and kind of know it's there, but it's not something I'm playing around with too much.
Yeah, and the last few for myself, and a stablemate of yours, Moses Talma, is pushing towards the world heavyweight title, just like yourself. Is there a point in your back of mind where, especially in a situation like this, it starts to become a bit of a conflict of interest of you both being in the same gym?
Not anytime soon, I don't think. If we're being honest, I still need to pick up a world title. He still needs to do the same. And then even then, there's still 2 more belts out there which we could go pick up. And then maybe it's a question once everything's cleaned up, maybe between the pair of us, and then maybe. But again, that's not any time soon. That's quite a point away. So yeah, it's no point of contention right now.
Okay, is it positive? Would you look at it more a positive thing, I guess, of you two being in the same gym?
Yeah, look, it's a positive for me. It's a positive for him. It's a positive for Ben. It's a positive for the gym that we're training alongside each other. That Ben's producing great fighters like this, and we're coming through and just working our way through the division and picking up wins and world titles. So yeah, look, it's a massive plus. There's nothing too negatively to look at it. It's, again, I think it's a credit to me and him that people just consistently put our names together as well.
Yeah. A final one from me. And Frank Warren has spoke about his sort of frustration of the bit of Fraser Clarke against Jamie TKV, the first BBC show that Boxer have put on. Do you share that frustration with this, with your fight with Parker, and obviously Shalom having a show on BBC there? Yeah,
look, obviously it's not ideal as boxers and for the boxing fans and for the public. It's a bit annoying when there's a conflict like that, because people, your boxing fans and whatever else, they want to sit down and watch the full show, and they want to see it from head to toe. So yeah, it's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. It's nothing that I'm gonna It's nothing I'm going to dwell on or cry about. I just think maybe it's a bit of a silly move from Ben and Boxer to have their first show competing with ours on quite short notice as well, with how they've announced it. But that's up to them.
Yeah, look, Fabio, always good to catch up. Always good to see you, mate. And yeah, all the best on October 25th against Joseph Parker. Appreciate
Pleasure.
it. Thank
Cheers,
you.
mate. Thank you.
Cheers.